You ever wake up on a Saturday thinking you'll just pour some coffee, maybe fix a leaky faucet, and instead you get sucked into a suburban turf war straight out of a reality show? Because that's exactly how my weekend started, and honestly, you couldn't make this stuff up. One minute I was chatting with a rancher in Montana on my ham radio, minding my own business, and the next, bam, my signal died mid-sentence. Lights on the rig just flatlined, and the smell of burnt ozone was hanging in the air like a punchline. That's when I knew this wasn't some random glitch. Somebody wanted me. Offline. I step outside, and there she is, Karen, our HOA president, marching through my yard wielding pruning shears like the world's most uptight samurai. Only, there weren't any roses, just my freshly cut coaxial cable dangling off the siding. Before I could even open my mouth, she's got that arms crossed, chin lifted stance and goes, "This is a violation. You were warned about unauthorized antennas." You know what I mean? There's always one. Now, I could have launched into a tirade right there, but I've learned, never go full drama with someone who thrives on it. So, I just shrugged and said, cutting federally regulated communication lines is a crime. Her lips twitched. She knew she was in the deep end, but that didn't slow her down. This neighborhood has rules, she snapped, punctuating it with those damn shears, like she was writing her own HOA constitution. What she didn't get, and what I wasn't about to spell out, is that this little antenna, it's not some hobby project. It's tied to emergency services, weather spotting, and, yeah, a stack of federal licenses. But to Karen, it was just another eyesore in her perfect cul-de-sac kingdom. So I played it cool, filed a quiet report with the radio authorities, figured the grown-ups could handle it. Let me back up a sec. In our suburb, everything runs on gossip, not fact. By dinner, Karen was strutting around the pool telling folks she'd just single-handedly taken down an illegal radio cartel. My buddy Jeff came by, laughing about how she'd cut my spy cables before I could report us to China. Funny, but also kind of terrifying. 2 days later, it was like a scene out of a cop show, 3 black SUVs with government plates, agents in suits, all business. They wanted to discuss my equipment. I kept my cool, didn't have anything to hide. Karen, meanwhile, was frozen across the street, clutching a gardening glove like it was a life preserver. The agents walked my setup, checked frequencies, licenses, the works. When I showed them the snipped cable and the trail of bragging neighbors, they just exchanged that look, the one where the grown-ups know who actually broke the lamp. And then, right there in front of the neighborhood, one agent points at Karen. "Ma'am, did you tamper with this individual's communication lines?" She cycled through every expression known to man: shock, denial, indignation, then tried to stand tall and insisted those cables were against HOA rules. They didn't even blink. "Ma'am, these are federally licensed. Cutting them is a violation of federal law. You'll need to come with us." Her knees buckled, but she tried to play the hero to the end, talking about protecting the community. Neighbors were filming, faces pressed against windows. It was better than Netflix. Now, you'd think that'd be the end. Oh no, Karen is not the fade into the background type. If anything, the FBI showing up was like tossing gasoline on her bonfire. Next thing I know, a packet lands on my porch. No envelope, just HOA letterhead, Karen's signature at the bottom of every page. Emergency Community Safety Directive. According to her, my antenna was now a classified hazard, and I had 7 days to tear it down or face escalating enforcement. I laughed out loud. She'd written this after literal federal agents had explained my setup was legal. But that's Karen. When reality disagrees, she just writes new rules. The group chat blew up, of course. Suddenly, my rogue frequencies were interfering with garage doors, baby monitors, even pacemakers. Everyone's Wi-Fi issues, Alexa glitches, or weird dog behavior suddenly had a culprit. I knew arguing in chat would be pointless. Karen in writing is like wrestling a pig in mud. So I just documented everything. Quietly, thoroughly. 2 days later, bright orange survey flags zigzagged across my yard. She'd called the city, reporting unauthorized underground wiring. The worker was embarrassed, just doing his job, but Karen was escalating. And she wasn't alone. Her bored buddies piled on, suggesting my antenna was attracting lightning. The real irony? I was the only one with grounded surge protectors, But facts don't count in Karen's courtroom. Then she filed a noise complaint with the county. Deputy comes by, polite, clearly embarrassed. He checks my logs, glances at my gear, marks it closed. All while Karen stands at the edge of her driveway, arms crossed, radiating challenge. And that's when the weird static started. Every time I keyed up, someone was jamming my frequency. Deliberate, not random, probably a cheap internet signal jammer. Illegal, sure, but right in Karen's wheelhouse. I filed another urgent report. The feds came back, spectrum analyzers in hand, and this time they didn't knock. They went straight to Karen's door, traced the jammer to her living room. No arrest, just a warning, but for once Karen didn't have a comeback. She just stood there, blotchy and rattled. You'd think that'd be rock bottom, but not for her. She doubled down. Giant plywood signs, danger, illegal radio station, staked right in my lawn, not hers. Fake diagrams of brain cancer zones stuffed in mailboxes, anonymous flyers. Group chat panic. By midweek, the HOA called a special meeting. Karen strutted out all her evidence, waving pictures of my antenna like I was running a meth lab. When I calmly presented my license, showed video of her trespassing and cutting my lines, the room went dead quiet. She tried to claim it was all doctored, but folks were starting to see the cracks. Then the twist. She started doxing me. Went on local Facebook groups, posted my address, called me a rogue operator. Strangers showed up, filming my house, glaring. My storm spotter buddy said, "She's making you a target. This isn't HOA drama anymore. This is harassment." The feds agreed, told me to keep logging everything. That's when Karen switched tactics, started recruiting. First, a licensed consultant. The last straw came late one night. Security cams caught Karen and her crew, hoodies up, creeping through my yard with a homemade jammer and a can of accelerant. I called 911 and the FCC. They got caught red-handed. Karen's face, when they took off her hood and read her rights, was the stuff of legend. No more HOA chin tilt, just panic. By morning, the FCC was there with news crews, filming my antenna, interviewing me on the sidewalk. The story went viral. HOA president arrested in federal radio sting. And suddenly, Karen was gone. The air was clean, the logs were clean, and I could finally sit on my porch with a cup of coffee and breathe easy. At least for a while. Because here's the thing. Folks like Karen, they don't just vanish. They regroup. Sure enough, she was out on bail in days, posting on fringe sites, spinning herself as a whistleblower. But the community had seen enough. The feds had everything they needed, and the final act played out with a sting on a rental house down the block, equipment seized, Karen and her consultant arrested. This time, the evidence was ironclad. She was gone for good. Or was she? That's the thing about control. Freaks. They burn the world down rather than admit defeat. But I'll be ready. Because in the end, calm and patience always outlast rage and chaos. And if you ever find yourself caught in a suburban Cold War, log everything. Stay clever. And don't let the Karens win. So, what do you think? Is community justice ever really served? Or do folks just find new ways to fight? Drop your thoughts below. Let's hear your HOA war stories, because I know I'm not the only one.